All right, let's crack the code on something you've definitely seen online. You know those super simple stick figure videos about psychology? The ones that somehow get millions and millions of views? Well, it looks basic, but there is a seriously powerful high-retention formula at work here. And today, we're going to break it all down, step by step.
And this quote right here, this is the core of it all. It perfectly nails that feeling, that huge gap between planning to do something and actually doing it. These psychology videos, they tap right into that anxiety, and they promise you a shortcut. And that's exactly why they are so compelling.
So that really leads us to the big question, right? How does something that looks like it was drawn in 5 minutes compete with these massive, high-budget productions? I mean, it just feels like it shouldn't work. But the view counts, they don't lie. And the answer isn't about the animation. It's all about the psychology of the script.
Okay, let's start with the foundation. Because way before anyone even thinks about writing a script, the success of these videos is pretty much already decided by two key things: a super specific niche and a deceptively smart visual style.
So the niche is educational psychology. But let's be real, they frame it as leveling up your life. It's not academic, it's not dry. It's all about practical application. You've seen the titles like The Psychology of Quiet People or Why You Over-Explain. It's content that promises to give you a secret insight into how other people and, you actually tick.
And this is where that simple, lo-fi style becomes an actual superpower. I mean, sure, it's easy to make, that's a plus, but the real genius here, there are absolutely zero distractions. Your brain isn't trying to process complicated visuals, it is locked onto the voice and the core message. It's so direct, it's clean, and it's surprisingly mesmerizing. Okay, now for the engine that drives this whole thing. This isn't just some random advice thrown together. It is a 5-step framework that is literally engineered to grab your attention in the first few seconds and not let go until the very end.
These are the 5 beats that make up the story. You have the shock hook, then the comparison, the power gap, the pain trigger, and you finish with the resolution. Every single successful video in this niche, whether they know it or not, follows this exact structure.
So this brings us to that second step, the comparison. What these scripts do so brilliantly is they immediately create a conflict between two archetypes. On one side, you've got the architect, who researches and plans everything perfectly. And on the other, you have the hunter, who just gets up and acts. This forces you, the viewer, to instantly ask yourself, wait, which one am I? So then they have to explain the power gap. Why does the hunter always win? It's simple. Velocity creates data. While the architect is still stuck in theory land, the hunter is already out there in the real world, getting feedback, making mistakes, and learning. Action doesn't follow the map, action creates the map.
Now this is where it gets really clever, because they have to make this emotional. To make the cost of doing nothing feel real, the script introduces someone relatable, a pain trigger. So meet Mark. His story is specifically designed to hit home for anyone who's ever gotten stuck in prepare mode.
And Mark, he's trapped. The problem is he feels productive, right? Buying a course, designing a logo, that stuff gives you a little hit of dopamine. It makes you feel like you're making progress, but it's just an illusion. It's the feeling of movement without actually going anywhere. And it's a really comfortable, really safe trap to be in.
So after walking you right through that pain point, the script has to give you the way out. And the resolution isn't just a quick summary, it's a shot of pure energy. It provides clear, actionable steps and frames them in a way that makes you feel powerful and, ready to actually get up and move. But look, you can have the most perfect script in the world, and it's completely useless if nobody clicks on it. So that brings us to the final layer, the polish. This is all about packaging the video with titles and thumbnails that are designed for one thing: maximum curiosity.
And the titles are never complicated. They follow these simple, proven formulas. You've got the psychology of format, which makes it sound authoritative. A world without just sparks your curiosity. And then there's archetype branding, which uses this trendy, powerful language like villain to grab a younger audience focused on self-improvement.
The visual packaging is just as specific. That stark color palette of black, white, and red just screams for attention. The font is always clean and modern, and the style is super minimalist, often just text or a simple icon. It stands out in a sea of visually loud, cluttered thumbnails.
And of course, the voiceover ties it all together. And it pretty much always falls into one of two camps. Either you get the calm, trustworthy mentor who's guiding you through these deep ideas, or you get the high-energy, brutal truth coach who's there to give you a no-nonsense kick of motivation. Both work great, They just serve different kinds of content.
So, we've got all the pieces. How do we tie all this together into something you can actually use? Well, you need an action framework, one that's pulled directly from that hunter philosophy these videos always preach.
And here it is, the velocity protocol. First, you have to kill that presentation mindset. Just move before your brain can talk you out of it. Second, use the 5-minute fuse rule. If something takes less than 5 minutes, you do it right now. No scheduling, no putting it off. And third, you have to embrace low fidelity first. The big lesson from these channels is that getting your message out there is way more important than perfecting the package.
So there you have it. We've laid out the entire blueprint for you. The psychology, the script, the packaging, the action plan, it's the whole formula. So really, the only thing left to ask is the question right here on the screen. Now that you have the map, what's stopping you from taking the journey?